As a low-rent housing community, Nan'an community's land use efficiency is almost close to the limit. Each residential building is like a huge square cement column. The spacing between residential buildings is designed without considering sunlight exposure at all. Luo Feng's home is on the 32nd floor of a 36-story residential building. Feng, are you going to the martial arts gym tonight? Weiwen walked towards another residential building. I'm going out to tutor tonight. After the tutoring is over, I may go to the martial arts gym. It's hard to say when, so don't wait for me tonight. Luo Feng smiled and waved his hand, and then quickly walked up the stairs. Running at full speed, Luo Feng took 4 steps at a time, like a swift leopard. He reached the 2nd floor in the blink of an eye twice. 3rd floor, 4th floor. Tap. Tread. Luo Feng was running very easily and nimbly, occasionally giving way to residents climbing the stairs on other steps. Feng, school is over? Yes, Uncle Wan. Luo Feng's breath was not disturbed at all. As a senior martial arts student, climbing stairs at this speed is not much different from walking. According to the majority opinion of the residents, the low-rent housing complex does not have an elevator. Because once the elevator is built, residents will need to pay more rent. Secondly, for most people nowadays, even climbing dozens of stairs is very easy. For them, building elevators in residential buildings is a luxury. After all, electricity prices are very expensive, because the energy source of the entire city's defense system is electricity, and the entire country is in urgent need of electricity. 32nd floor. There are 8 households in total on the 32nd floor, and Luo Feng's family is among them. Click. Taking the key, Luo Feng opened the door. Brother, are you back? A voice came from inside the room. Yeah. Luo Feng closed the door and glanced around, and the entire home was at a glance. His home was a 1-bedroom, 1 living room with an area of 36 square meters. He, his brother, and his parents, a total of 4 people, live in this 36 square meter place. They have been living here since they can remember. Ahua, what are you reading? Luo Feng walked towards the small balcony. On the balcony, a thin young man with sickly fair skin was sitting in a wheelchair, holding an English book in his hand. Luo Feng glanced at it and said with a smile, "Oh, it's about the investment guru price." Among the investment gurus, isn't the stock god Buffett the most famous? Luo Feng knew nothing about investments, stocks, or anything like that. Buffett's theory is not very suitable for me. Price's theories and ideas are very close to some of my ideas and can be used as a reference. The thin young man looked up at Luo Feng with a smile. You can continue reading. Luo Feng smiled. Inadvertently, Luo Feng glanced at his younger brother's legs, and couldn't help but feel pain in his heart. When his younger brother was a child, his legs were broken by a car, and they were completely crushed from the thigh down, making him disabled. It is very stressful for a disabled person to survive in today's society. My younger brother can only receive distance education through the internet. Being deprived of sunlight for a long time made my brother look sickly pale. And, he doesn't have many friends, so his younger brother is also more introverted. My parents' jobs don't pay very well, and they have to support me and my younger brother. My younger brother is still disabled. The family burden is too great, so we can only live in this low-rent house. My younger brother is disabled and has little contact with society. It will be very difficult to find a wife in the future. Who wants to marry a cripple with broken legs? I must change the fate of the whole family. Luo Feng said silently in his heart. Why, I have a crush on Su Xian, but I didn't pursue her or fall in love. The law stipulates that you can get married at the age of 18, so many people fell in love in high school and got married right after graduating from high school. There are very few people who didn't fall in love in high school. Why didn't I? Because I don't have time to waste on falling in love. My family is not rich, and I don't have any great teachers to guide me. I can only rely on myself for everything. Luo Feng's eyes fell on the old sofa in the living room. Let go of the sofa that was used as a bed. For so many years, a family of 4 has lived in this small house, with 1 bedroom and 1 living room. My brother and I are in the only bedroom, but my parents have been sleeping on the sofa in the living room for so many years. I must let my parents and brother live in a big house with an elevator. Let parents sleep on a big bed. Brother, you don't have to work so hard every time you go downstairs. The house must have large floor-to-ceiling windows so that the sun can fully shine in. I don't know how many times Luo Feng has thought about these words in his heart. Because of this, he has worked hard since he was a child. That's why he became one of the 3 students among the 5,000 students in the 3rd high school to win the title of Senior Martial Arts Student. Among the 3, he is the only one whose family conditions are ordinary. The other 2 are children of wealthy families. Wow! The water from the tap kept flowing, and the electric kettle was quickly filled. Chi-Chi plugged in the electric kettle, and Luo Feng sat on the sofa with a history book in his hands, memorizing some key points from the book. Suddenly, beep! The electric kettle boiled. Luo Feng put down his book and poured water into the thermos. I poured a large plastic cup of hot water and put it on the table. In 2026 AD, the Battle of Hengze took place in Hengze Lake. Well, it was 2026. Luo Feng remembered each historical event. Among the various subjects of cultural education, Luo Feng was the strongest in mathematics, but he is most interested in history. Because whenever we look at the history of the 21st century, he sighed. This is a history of human change. Ahua. Luo Feng walked to his younger brother's side. Brother, what's the matter? His younger brother Luo Hua put down the book in his hand. There are a total of 139 key points in this book. I have highlighted them for you to ask questions. Luo Feng handed over the history book in his hand. When his younger brother Luo Hua heard this, he couldn't help but smiled and took it. Okay, it's a rare opportunity to take the test. Brother, please listen carefully, I'm going to give you a question. You'll be embarrassed if you answer it wrong. Ask. Luo Feng smiled and sat on the sofa. With one person's power, he killed the tiger-headed monster on the bank of the Yangtze River, rescued hundreds of thousands of people, and successfully transferred hundreds of thousands of people to the Jiangnan base. Who died heroically? Where did he die? How old were you at that time? The detailed date of the incident? Luo Hua looked through it carefully and asked a question. The person who died heroically was Dong Nanbiao, who was posthumously awarded the 4-star Hero Medal by the country. He was originally from Taixing, Jiangsu Province. He was 39 years old when he died. The detailed date of the incident should be 2018 AD. Luo Feng couldn't help but frown. Brow. His younger brother Luo Hua couldn't help but ask, what month is the exact date in 2018 AD? Well, it seems. Luo Feng said somewhat uncertainly, it seems to be June 18th. Haha, you answered the first question wrong. His younger brother, Luo Hua, shook his head and said, Dong Nanbiao, who was posthumously awarded the 4-star Hero Medal, was indeed a native of Taixing, Jiangsu Province. He was 39 years old when he died, but the incident happened. The detailed date is June 16, 2018. Luo Feng couldn't help but slap his head, shook his head and smiled bitterly. Number 16 and number 18 often make mistakes. You can ask again. Okay, listen carefully, the second question. His younger brother Luo Hua looked very excited. In the year 2023, the 2 brothers were asking and answering questions, and time flew by very quickly. I've asked half of the questions in this book. I asked 68 questions, and you answered 63 correctly and 5 wrong. His younger brother Luo Hua looked up at the clock on the wall. My parents are coming back. I'll ask you again. Last question, I'll ask the other half next time. Last question? Okay, ask. Luo Feng was highly focused. This question is the most basic. Please retell the main events of the Great Nirvana period, said his younger brother Luo Hua. Luo Feng's expression was a little serious. The history of the Great Nirvana period is the most important period of human change. At the beginning of the 21st century, several viral influenzas appeared in the world in succession, from the SARS virus influenza in 2003 AD to the later 2009 influenza A H1N1. In 2013, the more terrifying R-type virus finally occurred. During the spread of the virus, the R-type virus evolved into more than 20 variants, making the virus prevention work more difficult. It has appeared in all countries around the world. Deaths. With the progress of epidemic prevention work, the epidemic has been controlled. However, in January 2015 AD, the R-type virus evolved into its most terrifying variant, which was called the RR virus. Many variants of the R-type virus in the past were spread through body fluids, and some variants could be spread through water, but their survival time in water was very short. But this RR virus can be spread through body fluids and water flow. The most terrifying thing is, it can be transmitted through the air and survive for an astonishing 3 hours. As soon as the RR virus appeared, it spread quickly around the world. All life in the world, whether it was humans or birds and animals, as long as they needed to breathe, were infected with the RR virus. By the time humans discover the existence of the RR virus, it will be too late. After RR virus infection, the mortality rate is extremely high, reaching nearly 30%. In just 3 months, according to subsequent statistics, in addition to the death of a large number of animals, the global population dropped by nearly 2 billion. In these 3 months, it's been a nightmare 3 months. Scientists around the world are helpless in the face of this virus. There are nearly 5 billion human survivors, and those who survive naturally produce antibodies in their bodies. After these nightmare 3 months, the world is immersed in endless grief. Luo Feng said slowly, during this process, the 5 billion human survivors discovered that their bodies had become better. Almost every human's strength, speed, cell activity, and skin toughness had more than doubled. Even an ordinary person can easily break the previous world records in weightlifting and 100-meter run. However, the disaster began. Human beings who have been living comfortably have increased their physical conditions so much. The birds and beasts that have also survived the RR virus have always followed nature's survival of the fittest. This time, the physical changes have increased the strength of various birds and beasts. Humans are amazing, and some of the terrifying monsters are even more intelligent. In September 2015, starting with the attack by endless creatures in the ocean, countless birds and beasts transformed into monsters and began to attack human settlements. Bloody and crazy. In the war between humans and monsters, people were shocked to find that the thermal weapons they had always been proud of were only effective on some low-level monsters. The powerful bird monsters and beast monsters were not afraid of bullets and artillery fire at all. Bullets hit them, the scales on the body can't even be broken. The missile attack is easily avoided by the monster with quick nerves and speed. Even if humans use nuclear bombs to attack, they will be shocked to find out in the end. The monster defense is too strong. Only in the core area of the nuclear bomb attack range, a large number of monsters died, but in the larger scattered area, the monsters did not die. The power of the nuclear bomb is far less powerful than human imagination. Although a group of monsters were killed, however, nuclear radiation gave birth to even more terrifying beings among monsters, the most famous of which was the most terrifying blood demon Sirius. The blood demon Sirius actually had the ability to fly and killed more than 1 million humans. You know, nuclear radiation can actually cause some monsters to mutate into extremely terrifying beings. There are extremely terrifying beings among monsters, and strong ones have also emerged among humans. The original blood demon Sirius was eventually killed by a super strong human being who could also fly, and is now the second-ranked thunder god in the world. He was seriously injured and escaped. These strong men, at critical moments, saved a large number of ordinary people, assisted the army, and resisted the monsters. During this period, a large number of touching stories emerged. And the human scientist Crotacina, based on the material of the monster corpses and the blue gold metal found on the moon, invented an alloy that is harder than diamond, Krotosner, so that the strong human beings don't have to use their bare hands, fight, and have a terrifying weapon that can split the fur and scales of monsters. In Luo Feng's mind, he clearly remembered this part of history recorded in the book. During the course of the war, large numbers of cities were destroyed. In our land of China, the country is urgently building 6 major bases and transferring a large number of people to the 6 major bases. Regarding the strong, my country and India, which advocates ancient yoga, have the largest number of super strong human beings. And the United States, the European Union, Soviet Russia is ahead in technology. Because there are countless monsters in the ocean, almost every island nation has been destroyed. To this day, the ocean is still the territory of monsters. In the war between monsters and humans, the only 5 countries on Earth that can protect themselves are our country, India, the United States, the European Union, and the Soviet Union. Other countries have long been fragmented. At the critical moment, with the 5 major countries as the core, establish the Earth Alliance. The Earth Alliance coalition forces assist in establishing numerous human bases around the world. The war between monsters and humans began in September 2015. With the successful development of ultra-high frequency laser cannons in March 2021, more than 10 S-class monsters and 2 SS-class monsters were killed one after another. Monsters and humans, the large-scale war is finally over. Luo Feng sighed. 5.5 years of war, the most terrible war. In this war, nearly 1 billion people died. Only the 5 countries have preserved the system of country, and the surviving populations of all other countries have entered various human bases and lived together. Until now, humans have had the upper hand on land. But there are too many monsters in the ocean, and the ocean is still the territory of monsters. The 8 years from 2013 to 2021 are the Great Nirvana period in human history. Luo Feng sat on the sofa and said slowly, When. The sound of the clock echoed through the house. The clock on the wall rang 5 times, it was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The Great Nirvana period. Luo Hua also lamented, Brother, to be honest, I really can't imagine that before the Great Nirvana period, there were more than 200 countries and regions in the world. What was the population at that time? 70, it's only a billion. Some small countries are really too small. I'm afraid a powerful monster can destroy them. Luo Feng nodded. So, now, there are 5 powerful countries and 23 cities in the world. There are 5 major countries on the entire Earth, China, India, the United States, the European Union, and the Soviet Union. As well as 23 human bases formed in South America, Africa, and other places, that is, 23 cities. There are 6 major human bases in China, which are now the 6 major cities. Luo Feng's home is in Ian District in Yangzhou City, one of the 8 great cities in Jiangnan City. The entire Jiangnan City has a population of nearly 200 million. The population of Yangzhou City, one of the 8 great cities in Jiangnan City, is over 10 million. In the past, the human base in Jiangnan City was mainly formed by the migration of a large number of people from the original Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces. Of course, there are also part of the original Anhui population. It's so far away. His younger brother, Luo Hua, looked at the clock on the wall. It's already 2056 AD, and more than 30 years have passed since the Great Nirvana period. In human society, going to a martial arts gym to practice is a must for almost everyone. Human society is much stronger than it was 30 years ago. Luo Feng nodded. In the past 30 years, there have indeed been many more powerful people among humans, and technology has also advanced. However, many terrifying beings have also been born among monsters. Ka. The door of the house was opened, and a middle-aged couple walked in. The middle-aged man's clothes were soaked with sweat, and there were some stains such as paint, and he looked tired. The middle-aged woman was not tall. Gao, carrying a vegetable basket in his hand, with some vegetables and meat in the basket. Dad, Mom. Luo Feng stood up immediately. This couple was his parents. His father is Luo Honghua and his mother is Gong Xinlan. Haha, Xiafeng, you read. Don't worry about me. Luo Honghua said with a smile. His son is about to take the college entrance examination, and review is naturally the most important thing in Luo Honghua's opinion. Luo Honghua lowered his head and saw a large plastic cup of cold water on the table. He couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. Every time he came back, there would be cold water ready. After a day's work, he picked up the large plastic cup and took a deep breath. He drank it all and exhaled happily. Go and take a shower, you're covered in stinky sweat. Mother Gong Xinlan said with a smile, haha. Luo Honghua smiled and immediately went to grab a change of clothes and go to the small bathroom that the family had used for many years. Gong Xinlan looked at her two sons with a smile. Xiafeng, Xiaohua, Mom will make braised pork for you today. My favorite food. Her brother Luo Hua immediately shouted. Luo Feng couldn't help but smile. He watched his mother put on a scarf and cook dinner. Luo Feng knew very well, my mother always went shopping in the evening after get off work, because the price of vegetables and meat at this time was much cheaper than in the morning, but in the evening, at that time, vegetables and meat were not as fresh as in the morning. Luo Feng looked at the bathroom again and said silently in his heart, I will obtain the martial artist title as quickly as possible. By then, my mother will no longer have to go shopping for groceries in the afternoon, and my father will not have to do the hard work of decoration. Live. In his heart, Luo Feng has always longed for his parents to have a rest and enjoy the sunshine and delicious food quietly. Xiao Feng. His father, Luo Honghua, came over after taking a shower. Dad, I have something to tell you. What's the matter? What's the matter? Luo Feng looked at his father. Luo Honghua smiled slightly. That's it, Xiafeng. I never asked you about your plans after graduating from high school. Can you tell your father? Luo Honghua rarely talks about this with his son because he doesn't want to put too much pressure on his son. He knows that his son has been working hard. Has always done very well. As soon as Luo Honghua said this, his mother Gong Xinlan, who was cooking rice, moved a little slower. Parents are very concerned about their son's future. Dad, that's what I think, Luo Feng said directly. Based on my academic performance, I believe it will not be difficult to enter the Jiangnan First Military Academy in the college entrance examination. Now that I have obtained the title of senior student in the Martial Arts Academy, I will be directly regarded as the Jiangnan First Military Academy officer training. Parents, you can also directly enter the military community. Soldiers are also divided into levels. Now of course the Huaxia Kingdom is recruiting soldiers, but ordinary soldiers don't have much benefits, and if you are a senior martial arts student at a young age and can be admitted to the Jiangnan First Military Academy, to be able to do so is equivalent to being both civil and military. The country will definitely focus on training, and the country will directly allocate a house in the family community of the military area. The conditions for a house for an officer's family are naturally 10 times or 100 times better than this low-rent house. Then what if you can't get into the Jiangnan First Military Academy? Luo Honghua said, Xiafeng, don't put too much pressure on yourself. There are 2 key military academies in Jiangnan City. It's just that you didn't perform well in the college entrance examination and you can't get into the First Military Academy. However, it is absolutely no problem to go to the Second Military Academy. Luo Feng is very clear about his grades. Usually, he can get about 50 points higher than the undergraduate score in the exam, but he can get into the Second Military Academy as long as he reaches the undergraduate score. Today's college entrance examination, there is no such thing as 1 or 2, there are only undergraduate and junior college, and there is only one score line. Those above the undergraduate level are undergraduate students, and those below the undergraduate level are junior college students. In the Second Military Academy, senior students from the Martial Arts Hall will also be trained as officers. The salary will not be much different. Luo Feng said with a smile. 2 out of 10 people can pass the undergraduate degree. However, among high school students, only 1 in 1,000 can obtain the title of senior martial arts student. Yeah, as long as you are sure, Xiaofei. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Your mother and I just want a stable life. Luo Honghua nodded slightly. You kid, you just put too much pressure on yourself. It's nothing. Luo Feng chuckled. I don't have any pressure. As a young man, I just need to be a little aggressive. Luo Feng said this, but he said in his heart, Mom, Dad, brother, after I finish the college entrance examination, you guys. You will live a good life soon. When I get the title of warrior, you won't have to do hard work anymore. Hurry up and get the bowls and chopsticks. Dinner is ready. Gong Xinlan urged with a smile. Okay. Father Luo Honghua stood up with a smile and went to get the bowls and chopsticks. The green vegetables are so fragrant. Luo Feng smelled at the soup pot and helped to carry the bowl. I smell the aroma of braised pork, while my younger brother, Luo Hua, also shouted excitedly, pulled the wheel, and the wheelchair approached the dining table. A family of 4, enjoying themselves happily.